Network, I'm your host for this Women's Month special. Tonight on the show, we have information on Josie's new tech hub, the Timologong precinct. We also get to hear what social entrepreneurs shared at TEDx Johannesburg. We also get to see the BMW 7 Series' new technology that allows drivers to reverse the car using a remote control. Now, our discussion tonight is on the Fak'ugesi African Digital Innovation Festival with gaming enthusiasts from Zimbabwe, Vuyichaza. You can follow us on at SABC Network on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, and its news network is at sabc.co.za on email. Let's start with our social media and technology news. The Timologong precinct in the Braamfontein area of Johannesburg is currently hosting the Fak'ugesi African Digital Innovation Festival. The festival will run until September 3rd. Fak'ugesi is the first event to be hosted in Johannesburg's brand new digital innovation precinct. Take a look.
Most of the Timologong precinct in the Johannesburg city centre is ready. The Digital Innovation Hub and Incubator will house some of South Africa's developers, tech startups, companies like the IBM Research Lab.
It's to promote both digital innovation and entrepreneurship. The two things that will come out of this space will be new businesses, startups in the digital space, and skills, a lot of skilled ICT people. And it will work on a membership scheme, so people will join as members. We've got sponsored members, but people will join as members, will have a place to work, a place to interact and form communities, and to come out with a new business or some skills.
The first event to be hosted in the precinct is a Fak'ugesi African Digital Innovation Festival. The festival will showcase work by African digital artists and host people from the sector in the African continent. One of the buildings at Timologong is the Old Ink nightclub, which will largely remain the way it looked when it was a club.
The challenge was that they were useful buildings, but they needed renovation. So I've been spending time since 2013 building partnerships, raising funds to do a major renovation of these 5 inner city buildings, and it's been a very exciting and very useful journey, because at the end of it we've got something that I think every Joburger and every South African will be proud to have this space within Braamfontein next to Wits University, promoting digital innovation in our economy.
Most of the precinct is ready, but there are some buildings that will be complete near the end of the year.
Now, we will be finding out more about the Fak'ugesi African Digital Innovation Festival later on in our discussion. Now, social entrepreneurs from various sectors spoke at this year's TEDx Johannesburg Salon at Gibbs. Many of them are in the book The Distributors by Karen Craig and Gus Silva. Some are using technology to solve South African issues.
Social entrepreneurs are people who get into the business space to solve social issues. Solving the local problem is what sparks their business idea.
The thing about social entrepreneurship is that when you bring profit into the equation, it equalizes the relationship. So you don't have a donor-beneficiary relationship, you have a customer relationship. So it's an inherently very empowering approach, and that's why it is gaining such attention across not just the continent, but across the world.
TEDx Johannesburg Salon gathered a couple of speakers who are social entrepreneurs at the event held at the Gibbs Business School recently. Many social entrepreneurs would be using technology to solve problems.
And we invest in people for enhanced enterprise and life performance. We work on the thinking and the think code in individuals who are going to either design the tech solutions, design the social solutions, design the environmental solutions, as well as those who engage with the tech so that they never lose their humanity in the process of dealing with the tech.
But there is a warning that problems aren't solved just by the digital tools used.
The technology on its own doesn't change anything really. What really drives change is people and how they use tools. And technology would be a tool. I don't believe that technology on its own will just magically, create an amazing space in our country and in our continent. But what technology does do, it allows us the opportunity to leapfrog forwards quickly so that we can benefit from advances in healthcare, advances in education, so that there is a broader empowerment base. So technology is lovely in that it enables us to reach a broad number of people quickly, but it needs people and it needs good intention to be able to be effective. On its own, it's just a tool.
We can read extensively about some of South Africa's social entrepreneurs in The Disruptors, a book co-authored by Karen Greger and Gus Silber.
Now, the next insert will be a treat for those BMW lovers. The brand has introduced a remote-controlled self-parking car in the African market. And our producer, Bitumelo Gasa, was there and got to have first-hand experience with the new technology.
A future of driverless car is here. A unique BMW feature of a self-parking called remote control parking system. This system enables owners to maneuver in or out of forward parking spaces or garages without anyone at the wheel. Then the car will stop 40 centimeters in front of or behind any obstacle.
This is literally the best car, the best 7 Series that we've ever built. You would have seen, the highlights that we've given you in the presentation. For example, just quite a lot of technology packed within this car. First of all, you experienced the remote control parking system, which is now available in South Africa, and the consumers within the African continent that want to buy the 7 Series with the remote control parking, they can do that.
One of the unique features is the semi-automated driving, which detects lanes whilst you're driving. BMW Connected Drive ensures that a driver has a seamless and hands-free communication. In addition to the standard Bluetooth, you get voice and motion command. There's also RTTI or real-time traffic information that will ensure that you avoid any traffic situation.
With every single BMW, there's a built-in SIM card in the car, which enables you then to enjoy those 2 standard features, intelligent emergency call, which means that if, say, you're on the road and you are involved in an accident, you can just press the SOS button, and then help will come your way, either an ambulance or an emergency vehicle to try and help you, and not only for yourself but also for fellow road users.
If you're lucky enough to be chauffeured around, you will enjoy what they call Vitality Drive. This feature will allow you to choose your ambience and, yes, of course, the massage.
That is some really pretty cool stuff right there. Now, Cisco is said to be retrenching 14,000 employees, and American tech giants will be joining the U.S. Federal Communications Commission to crack down on robocalls. These are some of the stories that made tech headlines in the last week. Big job cuts coming at Cisco Systems. The network equipment maker is retrenching about 14,000 employees, nearly 20% of its global workforce, according to technology news site CRN, which is citing sources close to the company.
Cisco wants to be sure not to be left behind. They've had some trouble. They haven't grown much of late, and there's a sort of new sheriff in town. So Chuck Robbins has taken over from longtime CEO John Chambers. So I think we're seeing new management, we're seeing a new commitment, and we're seeing a company try to move away from hardware towards software and security solutions, which requires different personnel and probably fewer personnel.
Cisco is expected to officially announce the cuts in the next few weeks. Now, the chief executive of AT&T, an American telecommunications company, announced on Friday that 33 companies, including the telecom giants Alphabet, Apple, and Comcast, are joining an effort with the U.S. Federal Communications Commission to crack down on the so-called robocalls. These are automated, pre-recorded telephone calls.
And the problem is that the bad guys are beating the good guys with technology right now. Voice over Internet Protocol, calls from scammers in foreign countries rely on networks that aren't ready to deal with them. The ability to spoof a legitimate phone number is the downside to a digital environment.
The strike force will report to the Commission by October 19th on concrete plans to accelerate the development and adoption of new tools and solutions. Now heading over to England. Aerial footage showed the successful maiden flight of the world's longest aircraft on Wednesday in England. Dubbed by some media as the Flying Bum due to its curved behind, the part airplane, part airship Airlander 10 measures 92 meters long, which is around 15 meters longer than the biggest passenger jets. Now, after the break, we speak to gaming enthusiast Vui Chaza from Zimbabwe. She's also a participant at the Fak'ugesi Africa Digital and Innovation Festival. Please do stay tuned.
The cotton field story is being told through patchwork by artists to celebrate the diaspora in America.
Vitally important in telling the stories of what is happening in the refugee crisis, migration, with questions of immigration, and I believe I, as an artist, have a moral obligation to tell these stories.
It's through paper, brush, and paint that the different faces of women are reflected by this prolific painter.
Women face a lot of challenges, discrimination, sexism, and a lot of other negative. In my paintings, I try to send a different message.
Place of the G-Men and Father Huddleston's mission. Place of Balanski's and the Odeon Cinema, and let's never forget.
Join Refilwe for that 1 hour weekly dose of arts and entertainment news every Saturday at 12.
Now this is Trends, of course, your one-stop serving of all that's juicy and trending in the world of entertainment and showbiz. My name, of course, is Refilwe Mwilo.
I'm Dr. Sello Mutaung, and this is our talk.
A very good morning and welcome to Media Monitor. I'm your host, Alicia Jolly.
My name is Dumile Matters.
My name is Mpo. What time is it? It's question time.
For your daily dose of current affairs, tune in to the SABC News Channel.
A Kenyan student has made a drone and is using it for agricultural research. Take a look.
This is Arnold Bett, a Kenyan university student who has built his own drone but is unable to fly it in the country due to regulations restricting the use of technology. Arnold has already used his technology for agricultural research in neighboring Tanzania. Kenyan authorities say they're looking at ways to open up the use of drones while still maintaining controls and safety.
Buying a ready commercial drone is very expensive, and that will mostly range between $5,000 to $6,000. And for us, building one, the most probably it will cost us is about $1,000, but on average $500 to $1,000.
Named the Octocopter, Arnold's drone was recently used for research carried out jointly by the University of Nairobi, the University of Missouri, and the International Potato Center, CIP. This innovation in data collection is being hailed as groundbreaking by agricultural researchers because it is cheaper, offers more detail, and allows scientists to analyze large-scale projects without the use of satellites.
Instead of analyzing one crop at a time in a large field or in a large area, even in a small area, it can be very challenging going crop by crop. And remote sensing allows you to capture the whole field in one image or a mosaic of several images and analyze it at once.
Bet showcased his technology to the public at an innovations exhibition recently held in Nairobi, where the president of the country, Uhuru Kenyatta, got to see the drone.
I was impressed with the technology. The only part which I really didn't understand is we are doing it in Tanzania, and partly because we don't have licenses to fly the drones in Kenya, but it's very easy to get the license in Tanzania, and that's just the main challenge for us.
Kenya's Civil Aviation Authority, the KCAA, is expected to draft regulations guiding the use of UAVs in Kenya. Currently, anyone looking to operate a drone needs approval from the KCAA as well as the Ministry of Defense.
As you've seen in our first insert, the Fak'ugesi African Digital Innovation Festival is currently on at the new Tshimologong precinct in Johannesburg. One of the residents at the festival, a Zimbabwean national, Vui Chaza, she says she wants to live in a world where video games and cartoon watching are mandatory subjects at school. Vui is in studio with us this evening. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Level.
How are you doing?
Very well, how are you?
Great.
Good.
So you say gaming and cartoons have to be mandatory in schools.
Yeah.
Okay, I get the gaming part, where I mean it creates an imagination world and for kids and all that stuff. But now cartoons, I have two sets of questions. Cartoons, what kind of cartoons? Are we talking anime or are we talking your regular SpongeBob's?
Yeah.
And two, what would that teach our kids?
I think it's both, actually. Just looking my experience when I was growing up, I was exposed to both anime and regular cartoons, and that actually, I think, opened up my imagination a lot more to just the normal, people. It's just it widens, it completely broadens your whole view on life. You think about things that are impossible, things that only happen, and then you become an imaginative person, and that also helps your creativity. I think it's also informed a lot of my graphic design work, because it's really trippy and crazy and really cartoon-like. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me, how is the digital landscape like in Zimbabwe?
It's coming up, really surprisingly. You are finding now that a lot more Zimbabweans are creating content. So you have things like Nafuna TV, you have things like Calabash Media, and these are really just regular people. They're not even media agencies. They're creating their own content and putting it on YouTube, and people are now sharing it, which is just really cool. And I think also with the availability of Wi-Fi is becoming way more available, and 3G as well, 4G networks as well is becoming available. So people are really getting onto the digital sphere. I'm sure you've seen a lot of citizen movements as well coming out of Zimbabwe. So that's just an example of like how people are using the digital space.
So now, is it inclusive of women or is it still very male dominated?
I mean, looking at the statistics, so I manage brands online, and I'm able to see a lot of the analytical or the statistics behind how people are using the internet. In Zim right now, it's very male dominated. And it's not to say that it's purposefully that way. I think that just a lot more spaces need to be created for women to enter and to have digital conversations or conversations on the digital sphere.
Okay,
Yeah.
So now what kind of content is created in the digital space in Zimbabwe?
So many different kinds. I mean, you find blogs, like people are really beginning to blog, they're beginning to use more things like Tumblr, which is connecting them on a global scale as well, because a lot of international people use things like Tumblr. Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, there's so many kinds of things that people are doing. But just one of the examples is Mandora Fire, which is this it's like a short 5-minute video, and it's a comedian, and he's basically doing a skit or a show, and it's really funny, and people just share it, and it goes viral. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're a resident at Fak'ugesi. Tell us about this. What does it mean? Does it mean that you'll be residing at Tshimologong precinct? Tell us about that.
So basically, they invited me. I'm one of the 3 residents. So it's me, Simpiwe Kulu, and Regina Khatle. And they invited us to come and do some artwork, but we decided to collaborate. So we're collaborating on an art exhibition that'll be shown between the 24th and the 29th of this month. So basically, we are in a house together, we're going to work together, and we're just putting together some cool exhibition that'll be shown soon. Yeah.
So do you have any ideas for the artwork yet?
Yeah, but I'm not sure I should tell or should I wait? Yeah, but we are basically just in, looking at technology through the lens of Africa, basically, and really beginning to ask questions like, what is technology, and is it a Western concept, or were there technologies in Africa before colonialization, and trying to recapture that and trying to reinterpret it in our own way.
So you mentioned you and the other 3 ladies that are part of the residency.
It's a girl and a guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Girl and a guy.
Yeah.
How does one get to participate and become a resident at Tshimologong?
So there was a call out. They did a call out. Fak'ugesi did a call out and said that they wanted residents from the SADC region to participate in the festival. So I think it's just a matter of following the festival and following what they're doing at any given time. I'm not sure how they're going to do it next year because they did it a bit different this year. So I think it's just a matter of following them and seeing what they're doing because they're doing really cool things. Like there's
so tell us. I'm sorry to cut you, but how important are these collaborations in Africa?
It's so important. I mean, just again about creating content from an African context because so much of the time we are being told what stories are coming out of Africa and nobody's really creating their own content and nobody's collaborating. It's always so much competition, whereas I think a lot more can be achieved if we come together and we collaborate. Let's get artists, let's get programmers, let's get different people together so that we can create our own narrative and our own content.
So how long is the festival running for?
It's running up until the 3rd of September. So it's actually started already. People can go in and see what's going on. There's so much happening and it's just really fun and exciting. So yeah, running until the 3rd of September.
Thank you so much, Rui, for joining us.
Thank you, Level, for having me.
Such an awesome person. That was Rui Chasa from Fak'ugesi. Now, this week, we found out about actress Zakia Patel's favorite piece of technology.
I don't think you guys heard me properly. We all took equal risks. You guys said yourself if I was caught, I'd never work as a dealer again.
Well, yes, but...
33 and a third.
Excuse me?
My name is Zakia Patel and my favorite gadget is definitely my phone, which is Samsung, which might be changing to an iPhone, but whatever it is, it has to be a phone because of Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter, the things that keep me connected to the world. I was overseas recently and I wasn't connected as much as I'd like to be and I felt like I was missing a limb.
A 3-way split, that's what I deserve and that goes for next time too.
I didn't know there was going to be a next time.
Yeah, this was our maiden run. Equal shareholders in a new and exciting enterprise.
He appealed for the disruptions to come to an end so the future of the children is not compromised.
The union said the latest offer by Eskom will condemn its members to poverty.
Samples from the 2012 London Olympic Games and 2014 Sochi Winter Games will also be retested.
Stay tuned to News Today at 3 p.m. from Monday to Friday on SABC News.
Hypertension is the condition where the blood pressure, the pressure in the blood vessels, it goes up.
We often come out at the top of the ladder having the worst numbers. And I think that's because we almost have what I can call a perfect storm of high blood pressure risk factors.
If you are diagnosed with hypertension, you just have to continue taking the medication for the rest of the life.
Because we try and reintegrate them and we try and retrain their abilities to be part of social society.
We do a lot of work trying to educate people, trying to encourage and motivate people to lead a healthy lifestyle. So what a healthy lifestyle means from a blood pressure point of view is obviously the more active you are and the better your heart is, the more fit your heart is and the better condition your blood vessels are.
Catch Health Talk every Saturday from 9 to 10 with Dr. Sillo Mutawo.
Welcome back. Let's see what some people have been sharing on our social media.
South Africans on social media have been celebrating with gold medalist Caster Semenya. The hashtag Semenya Sunday has been dominating. She received her gold in the 800 meters women's race in Rio. people all over the world haven't been happy with British athlete Lindsay Sharp. She came 6th and made noise about what she says is the biological makeup of some athletes. Kenyans have been celebrating with Julius Yego on social media. He won a silver medal in the men's javelin competition.
Well, that's all from us, folks. Catch me again next week, same time here on SABC News Channel 404. Remember to interact with us on at SABC Network on all social media platforms. We leave you with the visuals from Gamescom, the world's biggest video game fair in Cologne, Germany. From me, Wana Khasijake, and the rest of the network team, good night.